Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. The army under Marquis of Zhujiang, led by Yuo Wu, resembled a super-large fireball rolling down, with Luo Feng and his servant standing at the forefront of the giant fireball. It is indeed formidable, Luo Feng observed the countless flames around him. This was the power of thousands of eternal true gods summoned by the formation. A formation can combine the power of numerous eternal true gods, even leading to a qualitative change. However, such large-scale military formations only exist at the stage of eternal true gods. Luo Feng realized this fact. A large group of primal chaos overlords forming a formation. That was impossible. After all, there were not many primal chaos overlords throughout the whole land of origin. In a second-tier nation like Yu Kingdom, there were only dozens of individuals in the primal chaos realm, and they were almost all scattered around different places. Those in the primal chaos realm cherished their freedom. After all, cultivating for eons to become a ruler of a territory was not about serving others. Even if they were willing to follow a godly king, it required the king to bestow substantial resources. It was already remarkable to have several primal chaos realm individuals arrange a formation together. Luo Feng suddenly gasped in surprise and looked down. There was a series of explosions below. The primal chaos armor sector had long been equipped with the Dark Prison World Array. As soon as Marquis of Zhujiang's army invaded, this grand formation emerged. Once it appeared, numerous cyan chains came binding from all directions. The supergiant fireball, with its flames raging fiercely on the surface, crushed some of the chains upon collision. But more cyan chains emerged from the void, entangling this massive fireball from all directions. Gentlemen, this is the Dark Prison World Array, from the Heart Shadow Sect. Given their current strength, they can probably only set up the Dark Prison World Array, and Great Destruction Ultimate Formation. Yuo Wu sat calmly at the center of the formation, her voice spreading throughout every eternal true god in the military formation. Combined, these are their strongest tactical measures in formations. We don't need to clash head-on. As long as we avoid their main attacks and reach the city owner's mansion, that will suffice. The supergiant fireball spun, resisting the numerous giant cyan chains, while also moving closer to the city owner's mansion. Inside the city owner's mansion, the leaders of the 5 great families and eternal true gods, including Moli Feiyun, Jiang Qi, and Mo Yu Hu, were all looking up at this terrifying confrontation. Crush them! As the supergiant fireball was resisting the chains, a grand formation, with roiling dark clouds suddenly appeared. It was the Great Destruction Ultimate Formation. Fog swirled, making it difficult to see the inside of the formation. Boom .. The huge cloud mass collided with the supergiant fireball, causing countless flames to scatter, the chains shattering and then reconstituting, continuing to bind it. Break! At the forefront of the supergiant fireball, Luo Feng, now towering in stature, ferociously sliced through the air with his blade, targeting the Great Destruction Ultimate Formation in front of him. As he made this cut, General Yuo Wu naturally coordinated, with countless flames following the blade light. A massive supergiant flame blade light struck, shaking the Great Destruction Ultimate Formation, causing many arranging eternal true gods to feel soul pain. It's Luo He. Luo He leads the army formation, everyone be careful. Inside the Great Destruction Ultimate Formation, there were also many super-large mechanical secret treasures hidden, ready to strike at any moment. But knowing Luo Feng was leading, they dared not charge. Heart Devil Kite and Demon General of Heart Shadow, I leave them to you, the master of the Heart Shadow Sect ordered. Yes. A black flying bird and a black humanoid figure simultaneously launched an attack from within the hidden formation, the Heart Devil Kite, controlled by Elder Heart's Eye, and the Demon General of Heart Shadow, controlled by Qiu Yi. Junior brother Qiu Yi, Luo his spiritual will is terrifying. Do not think of attacking actively, just defend with all your might, Elder Heart Eye communicated through sound transmission. Within the sect protecting treasures, the Demon General of Heart Shadow was somewhat stronger than the Heart Devil Kite. Elder Heart Eye was surprised that a disciple could control the Demon General of Heart Shadow. Don't worry, senior brother, Qiuyi was equally confident. Two sect protecting treasures. Luo Feng was quite startled. His towering stature was comparable to these two sect protecting treasures, and he immediately struck with two heart-honing blades. Two dazzling blade lights emerged, each containing a blade-sharp spiritual will. Elder Heart Eye, leading his subordinate eternal true gods and true gods of void space, combined their spiritual wills through the heart devil kite, matching the top standards of the primal chaos realm. The spiritual will they displayed was not much different from Luo Feng's exposed pinnacle will of primal chaos. If the spiritual will was solely dedicated to defense, Luo Feng's will might be slightly suppressed at most, with minimal impact on his strength. The last time was so dire, because the heart devil kite's spiritual will had rushed into Luo Feng's godly body, attacking actively. It was like an egg smashing against a mountain. All members of the heart devil kite suffered severe damage to their spiritual will, which is why they fled desperately. But now, with the spiritual will restored and focused solely on defense, they were not afraid. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. The heart devil kite, and the demon general of heart shadow, also had the support of the great destruction, ultimate formation. Luo Feng's techniques were also bolstered by the military formation, with his blade technique being either wildly fierce, silent, abyssal, or leveraging force. The heart devil kite didn't show its strength last time, but this time I got to see it, Luo Feng's fighting spirit sword. He hadn't been able to fight freely during his 5 eras of cultivation. Now that he was fighting heartily, he treated his opponents as whetstones to test the many techniques he had developed. Brother Luo, just focus on defense. Our goal is to reach the city owner's mansion as quickly as possible, Yuewu communicated through sound transmission. Rest assured, Luo Feng responded. Yuewu was very satisfied with the vanguard general of the army, Lord Luo. His individual strength and spiritual will were extremely powerful, making it hard for the Heart Shadow sect to break through their formation from within. Yuewu suddenly exclaimed in surprise. Luo Feng was equally astonished. They both noticed a super-large flying boat, its surface swirling with countless formation lights, its might so imposing that just seeing it sent chills down Luo Feng's spine. At this moment, the super-large flying boat was charging forward, creating numerous space cracks in its path. Crush them, commanded the three-eyed man Feng Yuqi from inside the super-large flying boat. The flying boat was manned by more than 500 eternal true god disciples, jointly steering it. This super-large flying boat's terrifying might was evident, as Luo Feng, towering and formidable, stood at the forefront of the entire Marquis of Zhujiang's army formation, facing the collision of the super-large flying boat. Where did this come from? Luo Feng, eyeing the terrifying flying boat, immediately recalled the intelligence regarding the military of the two ancient countries. This is a military ship from the Flame Wind ancient country. The military of the Flame Wind ancient country, with their mechanical treasures and ships, far surpassed other divine kingdoms. Moreover, Flame Wind ancient country allowed foreign transactions, though the prices were exorbitantly high. This ship, based on the intelligence Luo Feng had, required a whopping 500 billion cosmic sand. It likely needed several hundred eternal true gods to drive it, each operating apart. This was much more terrifying than many formations. Within the territory of Flame Wind ancient country, ordinary troubles and dangers warranted the dispatch of one warship to suppress them. A single warship could sweep through any individual below the primal chaos realm. Only if faced with greater trouble would the primal chaos realm intervene. This is a warship of the Flame Wind ancient country, a moving terrifying great formation, its might even greater than the great destruction ultimate formation. Do not withstand it head-on. Yuewu's voice broadcasted throughout the army formation as it transformed, the originally super-large fireball instantly turning into super-large water currents. These endless water currents flowed and changed shape formlessly. Previously, Luo Feng was engaged in combat with the Heart Devil Kite and the Divine General of Heart Shadow, but with the flowing water, he instantly pulled away. The massive warship fiercely collided, but the army's water currents were unpredictable, avoiding its sharp edges, making it impossible for the gigantic warship to touch the water. This, the master of the Heart Shadow sect exclaimed in anger. If this warship were in Yuewu's hands, it would likely be manipulated with much more finesse. But under the control of the Heart Shadow Sect, it just blindly rushed forward, unable to stop the slick army water currents. Boom, boom, boom tilde tilde tilde. Instead, it was more suited for the Sect's grand formations like Dark Prison World Array and Great Destruction Ultimate Formation that could continually hinder and influence, but the army water currents were unwilling to engage, constantly evading smoothly. Phew. It seemed like a long time, but it was just a matter of seconds. The army water currents had already surged into the city owner's mansion. Excellent. Outside the city, the silver-haired Marquis of Zhujiang watched this scene with great joy. Yuewu is indeed the top array master below the primal chaos realm of our Yu Kingdom. He maneuvers the army formation much more exquisitely than the Heart Shadow Sect. They've finally entered the city owner's mansion. Once inside the city owner's mansion, they can control Huyang City and utilize the city. The odds of winning are much greater, thought Marquis of Zhujiang. Marquis Liu Yin, clad in dark red armor, frowned as he watched the scene. Inside the formation are over 3,000 eternal true gods, and there are extremely powerful eternal true gods like Lord Luo He and Yonghu. With Yuewu leading the formation, the Heart Shadow Sect can't stop them. This time, they are focused on escaping into the city owner's mansion. But focusing solely on escaping won't lead to victory. Eventually, a direct confrontation is required, Marquis Liu Yin observed. The Heart Shadow Sect may lose many, and I don't care, but Marquis of Zhujiang, if your troops suffer heavy casualties, what will you do then? Emperor Chu Yu of the Flame Wind Pavilion and the Deputy Pavilion Master were also leisurely watching the battle. Saw the novelfire.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yuewu of the Yu Kingdom indeed possesses high prowess in formation technique, Emperor Chu Yu observed from afar. Among our eternal true gods of Flame Wind ancient country, it's rare to find such strong expertise in formations. Even the fringe nations can produce some talented and strong individuals, the Deputy Pavilion Master remarked. Emperor Chu Yu shook his head. This warship, however, is a military ship from our Flame Wind ancient country. Despite its intricate formations and immense power, in the hands of the Heart Shadow Sect, it's quite foolish, capable only of reckless charging. In the Heart Shadow Sect, only the leaders who control the Heart Devil Kite and the Demon General of Heart Shadow are adequate. The rest are insignificant, the Deputy Pavilion Master commented. But behind the Heart Shadow Sect is Marquis Liu Yin, and I know his temperament well. Since he has decided to start a great war, this battle, for Marquis of Zhujiang, will be hard to win. Even coming from the imperial clan of the Flame Wind ancient country, they both held considerable wariness towards this Marquis Liu Yin. Marquis Liu Yin, by realm accumulation alone, was a being close to touching the threshold of godly king. Marquis Liu Yin is not to be trifled with, Emperor Chu Yu observed. Unless there's a special circumstance, Marquis of Zhujiang will most likely lose. The Deputy Pavilion Master agreed. They had traveled across many states of the land of origin, and well-versed and experienced, had long understood the essence of the conflict between the two primal chaos prefectures. It was a struggle between two primal chaos figures behind the scenes. Marquis Liu Yin had only dispatched a hired Heart Shadow Sect so far, his own forces yet to move, and already forced Marquis of Zhujiang to pay dearly to garner support from various strong individuals. Huyang City, as the center of the entire fortress, resembled a miniature city itself. It occupied a vast area, far exceeding any cave mansion, and at this moment, it was heavily guarded, with colorful and flowing formations protecting the city owner's mansion. Even if the Heart Shadow Sect intended to invade the city owner's mansion, there would be some casualties. They've arrived. On the city owner's mansion side, the leaders of the 5 great families, numerous eternal true gods, and a myriad of true gods of void space all looked up excitedly, watching as the vast, flowing army formation of the Marquis of Zhujiang surged into the city owner's mansion. The city owner's mansion naturally did not obstruct, allowing the army formation to enter. The army formation, including General Yuewu, General Yonghu, numerous mechanical stream secret treasures, and a host of eternal true gods, all appeared, with Luo Feng and Morosa among them. Lord Luo He, General Yu, General Yong, the Lord of Huyang City and the leaders of the 5 great families greeted them respectfully. Starting from now, the entire city owner's mansion is under my control, General Yuewu said. The Marquis had already instructed, and I will lead the way, the Lord of Huyang City replied with utmost respect. No need, senior brother Yong, follow me. Yuewu and Yong who instantly turned into 2 streaks of light, entering the depths beneath the city owner's mansion. When he accepted the invitation from the Marquis of Zhujiang, the Marquis had already handed over all the recorded formation diagrams of Huyang City to Yuewu. As a direct disciple of the monarch of Yu country and a potential being of the primal chaos realm, the Marquis of Zhujiang had no worries that Yuewu would leak the formation diagrams. Thus, Yuewu had studied the formation diagrams in advance, and had already grasped about 70 to 80% of the Huyang City formation map. He could sense and inspect how to take control immediately. Just a few moments passed. Buzz. Above the city owner's mansion, the previously colorful and flowing formations suddenly turned chaotic, with a significantly more terrifying might. I need to familiarize myself with Huyang City. If the Heart Shadow Sect launches a full-scale attack, the rest of you just need to defend, General Yuewu transmitted to the numerous eternal true gods. Then he specifically transmitted to Luo Feng, brother Luo He, the city owner's mansion is now more secure. Under normal circumstances, the Heart Shadow Sect could not possibly break through. But should any special factors arise, it will be up to brother Luo He to resist. Below the primal chaos realm, none shall break through the city owner's mansion, Luo Feng transmitted back. Ha ha, good. Yuewu then devoted himself to familiarizing himself with the many formations of Huyang City. What he had previously understood were the diagrams, but now he was actually in control. Once Yuewu took over, he discovered that the large city of Huyang, through generations of modifications, with many overlapping formations, had already become a tangled mess. Even he had to ponder how to wield the might of Huyang City. Inside the city owner's mansion, the many cultivators, who had been worried and frightened all this while breathed a sigh of relief now. Sigh. Divine Monarch, Moyu who saw Luo Feng and Morosa approaching and immediately saluted, thank Lord for rescuing us. The Moyu family is all within my spatial secret treasure, would you like to see them? Luo Feng asked. I would be most grateful, Moyu who responded immediately. Luo Feng nodded and waved, taking Moyu who away. Meanwhile, Moli Feiyun, Jiarong Qi, Gao Wu Shui, and others were also watching this place. When Jiarong Qi saw Luo Feng's gaze sweeping over, she immediately saluted. Luo Feng nodded slightly. He and this Jiarong Qi also had some connections. Morosa, you help keep an eye on the Heart Shadow Sect. If any danger arises, notify me immediately, Luo Feng transmitted mentally, knowing that as a primal chaos overlord, Morosa's observatory capabilities were stronger than his own. Don't worry, Master, Morosa immediately responded. Sigh. Luo Feng, along with Morosa, swiftly moved to a spot on the city walls and calmly observed the outside. That's Lord Luo He. The 13 sect-protecting treasures of the Heart Shadow Sect are widely renowned. Any one of these treasures is nearly invincible below the primal chaos realm. Yet, even the combined forces of the Heart Devil Kite and Demon General of Heart Shadow are merely on par with Lord Luo He. Yes, if it weren't for Lord Luo He blocking them, with the Heart Devil Kite and the Demon General of Heart Shadow bringing the Great Destruction ultimate formation to kill their way in and leaving us to resist, that would have resulted in severe casualties. The eternal true gods all felt very fortunate. On the city walls of the city owner's mansion, Luo Feng and Morosa sat there leisurely sipping wine and observing the outside. So-called military confrontations are ultimately just cannon fodder on the land of origin. Luo Feng was well aware of this. In a conflict between two countries, the upper echelons would not easily descend to the battlefield, fearing it would escalate the situation drastically. Nowadays, earning 1 billion cosmic sand is already so difficult. To gain more resources, one must step into the primal chaos realm. Luo Feng mused, as an eternal true god, earning 1 billion cosmic sand was considered a miracle. But if he became a being of the primal chaos realm, hiring one for battle, 10 billion cosmic sand would seem too little. Beside him, Morosa somewhat puzzledly looked at Luo Feng. Master, what are you thinking about? Thinking about when I can become a primal chaos realm being, Luo Feng whispered. To ascend to the primal chaos realm within the law lineage is really uncertain about when it will happen. Just accumulate slowly, Morosa consoled his master. Morosa himself didn't feel the difficulty, having naturally advanced by just eating and drinking. Luo Feng glanced at Morosa and ignored him. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Deep beneath the city owner's mansion, Yuewu was familiarizing himself with the formations of Huyang City, with Yonghu guarding by his side. The strength of the Heart Shadow Sect is formidable, but the battleship of the Flame Wind ancient country is somewhat clumsy, posing little threat. However, the Heart Devil Kite and the Divine General of Heart Shadow. Without Luo he obstructing, we would not have won this battle, said Yuewu. Indeed, Elder Heart Eye's strength is close to mine. Once he controls the Heart Devil Kite, I too cannot overcome it, admitted Yonghu, but Lord Luo he can take on 2 opponents by himself. Your realm accumulation is too weak, Yuewu commented. From what I see, Luo his realm accumulation is no less than mine. Yonghu was astonished. Brother, even the monarch believes you will certainly reach the primal chaos realm. Could it be that Luo he will also reach the primal chaos realm? Yes, he will also reach the primal chaos realm, Yuewu replied, and unlike me, he has unlimited godly bodies. The formidable nature of a godly body will allow him to rapidly grow strong after becoming the primal chaos overlord. With some cultivation over time, he could rival the Marquis of Zhujiang. Unlimited godly bodies, in terms of the purity of divine power, and the massive reserve brought about by their immense size, make the primal chaos realm of the unlimited godly bodies much more advantageous than the ordinary godly bodies primal chaos realm. You must seize the opportunity, while he is still an eternal true god, to form a good relationship with him, Yuewu advised, glancing at Yonghu. In the future, brother, I will also be in the primal chaos realm, following you will be the same, Yonghu ingratiatingly smiled. After all, the monarch of Yu country held too high a status, and did not care much for these eternal true god disciples. Yuewu was the only one in whom the monarch of Yu country seemed to show special interest. Yuewu smiled. Over the long years, senior brother Yong had been most attentive, doing many things for Yuewu. Although the other sect members also greatly respected Yuewu, none could lower themselves as much as Yonghu. Yuewu also acknowledged Yonghu's determination in cultivation. For resources, Yonghu took on tasks across various regions of the Yu kingdom. In the future, if I can help senior brother, I will, Yuewu nodded and promised. Of course, the precondition was his breakthrough into the primal chaos realm. The monarch and other godly kings all said that Yuewu's accumulation was profound, and that he was certain to reach the primal chaos realm. Yet I still haven't broken through. Is reaching the primal chaos realm of the law lineage really so difficult? Yuewu wondered, a trace of confusion in his eyes, but he immediately focused and delved into learning the Huyang city formation. At the Heart Shadow Sect, the sect leader and 18 elders gathered, with Chiu Yi's divine power incarnation also appearing. We originally intended to use the city owner's mansion as bait to kill the array master. But what happened? We allowed the Marquis of Zhujiang's army to enter the city owner's mansion, and we couldn't even threaten that array master, an elder spoke up. The master of the Heart Shadow Sect scanned the room, stating, this time, sparing no expense, the Marquis of Zhujiang brought in Yu Kingdom's foremost array master below the primal chaos realm, Yuewu, significantly enhancing the military formation's power. And within that military formation is also Luo he. Luo his strength surpasses any eternal true god in the Yu Kingdom. He can withstand 2 opponents alone, the Heart Devil Kite and the Divine General of Heart Shadow. The master of the Heart Shadow Sect shook his head. Our plan failed, and that was unavoidable. The room fell silent. 2 sect-protecting treasures together were stopped by a single eternal true god. You all need not worry, they dare not engage us. They only want to escape into the city owner's mansion, the master of the Heart Shadow Sect said, but by continually running away, they will be unable to govern Huyang City, or the entire Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture. Thus, they must face us in the ultimate showdown. Once we clash, we have the flame-wind ancient country's battleship, and whether in terms of formations, or the elite level of eternal true gods, we surpass the Marquis of Zhujiang's army, the master of the Heart Shadow Sect declared. The 18 elders and Xiao Yi concurred. After all, coming from the foundation of a godly king sect, their eternal true god disciples were generally much stronger than those under the Marquis of Zhujiang. The coordination within their formations held an advantage in all aspects. Elder Heartai, Brother Xiao Yi, once the final showdown begins, the two of you just need to tie down Luo He, the master of the Heart Shadow Sect directed, just keep him busy. The rest of our disciples can then fully exert their strengths. Elder Heartai and Xiao Yi both nodded. There may be some casualties then, but as long as you tie down Luo He, the Marquis of Zhujiang's army's threat will be much weaker. We will surely prevail, the master of the Heart Shadow Sect declared. Initially, Luo He had proposed an employment price of 2 billion cosmic sands. Marquis Liu Yin did not agree, but the Marquis of Zhujiang did. I don't know at what great cost, said another elder. It must not have been cheap. The Marquis of Zhujiang is certainly generous. The elders discussed. Let's not worry about these matters, and prepare for the final showdown, the master of the Heart Shadow Sect said. Yes, the elders dispersed immediately. Elder Heartai and Xiao Yi did not rush to leave. They looked at the master of the Heart Shadow Sect. After carefully thinking over the combat situation, it feels like Luo He dealt with it very easily. Even his servant Luo Sa didn't need to take action. The master of the Heart Shadow Sect expressed his concern. The task for you two is important and not easy, to tie down Luo He. Elder Heartai and Xiao Yi both nodded. Both were extremely proud, but in previous engagements, indeed, the servant Luo Sa hadn't intervened. If you truly can't stop him, then don't force it. The master of the Heart Shadow Sect's eyes flashed with a murderous intent. If he wants to kill our Heart Shadow Sect disciples, then you two go and slaughter the eternal true gods under the Marquis of Zhujiang. In this war, we must win. All right. We understand, Elder Heartai and Xiao Yi both nodded. They soon left as well. The master of the Heart Shadow Sect gazed into the distance. The fate of our Heart Shadow Sect hinges on the two venerable ancestors. If the two ancestors make a breakthrough, as long as they don't fear the great Saint Zhu Yuan, our Heart Shadow Sect will rise swiftly. If the two ancestors do not break through, and more disciples perish, the burden of maintaining the sect's operations will be lighter, allowing it to endure longer. The eyes of the master of the Heart Shadow Sect were cold. Search *the noelfa.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. This video will end here.